Hello, my name is Mark, and I thank you so much for coming by today. Well, I've got a treat for you. It's a treat for me as well because it's something that came in the mail, and I've been waiting a while to get this. It was something I had ordered a while ago, and it took some time to get here. This is a book called Hideaways, and it is more art from Iraville. And we're going to talk about this, and I'll talk about why why I have these little bookmarks in there. I'm really excited to share this with you. This is one of my favorite artists that I've come across on social media, and I really can't wait to just jump into this book and share some stuff with you. This just came out. I just got it the other day, and I'm really excited about it. So come on along. We'll talk about this and some other things, and I hope you're doing great. So come on along. So the first thing I want to clear up is the name that I pronounced. I was pronouncing it wrong earlier. It's Iraville, not Iraville. And you can find Iraville's social media work on Instagram, and you can find her on YouTube, which is where I discovered her. Now, as I open this book up, look at the inside paper binding there. It's so beautiful, the patterns she creates, the color schemes that she works with, and even this, she included this little card here, which it's just gorgeous. And the layering techniques that she uses with watercolor are just really remarkable. But one of the things I love here is the little signed bookplate in there. That's a really nice keepsake to have, just to have her signature in there, which I think is terrific. But you can see the detail in this paper binding here. I just think it's gorgeous, and her work could be used in so many different ways for graphic design. It's endless what you could do. Now, one of the things I love is the little embossed decoration she has on the actual hardcover. That was a nice little treat. I didn't expect to find anything there, but when I pulled off the book jacket, there, of course, was this little character looking back at me. So nice little treat to find. And you can see that it's one of these characters here from the back jacket of the book. So and even the back of the jacket, it's just it's just gorgeous. I just really am just enamored by the style that she uses and the way she has such an instinctive flavor with her color palettes, her compositions, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But so here we have more art from Iraville. Now, Ira Sluyterman van Langeweyde, I'm probably butchering the name, but that's her name. And what she does is not unlike what a lot of illustrators do. She creates scenes, and she creates work with colored pencil and multimedia, mostly with watercolor, and she's turned a lot of people onto her techniques and her styles. And that's one thing that I really have to give her a lot of credit for, is she's worked very, very hard to create a style that is just refreshing and what I would consider really, really immersive, meaning you look at one of her drawings and your eye goes to a very specific place based on her compositions, and also the fact that she just densely fills a space with so much visual information. The picture here kind of reminds me of a Maurice Sendak, Where the Wild Things Are, but it's done in a style that is completely unique to Iraville. So obviously she's from Munich, Germany, and her inspiration comes from these sprawling landscapes that she's visited, and she loves plants, and she talks about all the different things that she loves. She loves nature. She also loves to visit small villages and travels, and she paints the things not necessarily that are obvious, but she finds the little out-of-the-way scenes to paint. And again, I am just absolutely taken by her compositions. Her compositions and her color palettes. And that's something that I really have just always been in awe of, is just how instinctive she is with her color palettes. So when I pull out my favorite little book here, Book of Colors, I have videos on this book, and I can look up certain color styles and color palettes, and one of them is folk art. And here you see I have this chapter here called Folksy, and you can see the color patterns in this book match almost identical to some of the patterns in her piece here. The russet colors, the yellows, the muted greens, just a wonderful layout that really just brings her palettes to life and brings the piece to life, because everything is tied together. There's always a way she does the layering in her work to tie things together. Whether she's painting a yellow background, she'll put a little bit of that russet color in that yellow. The green has a little bit of the yellow in it. It's amazing how she has learned on her own to just manipulate the medium to get to say that what she wants to communicate. And what she's communicating is like her first book called Cozy Days. It's very comfortable to look at. Here she does people, and one of the things I love here, you can see the granulated effects around the characters. She doesn't just float them in space. She puts these backgrounds behind them that really ties the character in contrast and in value to the background versus the character. She's well adept at experimenting and trying new things, and always has a unique way of painting things like plants and nature and rocks and even buildings and so forth. She just has a really unique way of presenting her thoughts and her ideas. Very unique to her, very specific to her style. And what's great about this book, Hideaways, is that it leverages her first book, Cozy Days, which is also a fantastic book. But this one takes it, I think, a little bit further, because she's explaining the style she works with, the colors that she uses, the paints that she uses, how she uses paint. And you can see here just how she's working with paints, and she explains it all. And that's the wonderful thing, is that if you ever wanted to sit down with this person and have a one-on-one conversation, that's what this book really satisfies. And for me, you know, I've been watching her and following her work for years, and always been I've always been entertained and enjoyed watching her paint, especially seeing how she does this layering technique where she can paint a flat color, add in a few sort of just complements to it, and then do this layering technique where she paints negatively and comes up with these really, this is where the dense sort of structuring comes in, and really fills in that dense area, but it's so compositionally nice to look at that, again, as someone who's been a graphic designer and an art director, her illustrations just fit right into any layout. If you're doing an ad or an editorial or whatever, her work can fit right into any layout because it's very compositionally sound. And that's what I love. And even here, she's talking about how she mixes ink and how she really compares ink and watercolor, and that they're not too dissimilar. And she gives a whole explanation. I'm not going to reveal too much about the book, because there's so much to find in this book that's just wonderful to read and wonderful for reference later or whatever. But I do want to just point out some things like here. This illustration clearly shows how she focuses on her composition. So before any colors applied, before any final art or inking is done, she's already laid out the composition, and she can go from this to another piece and just sort of fine tune what she's trying to say here. And whether it's for herself or, again, for advertising or something like that, I don't know exactly what she does with her art, other than she creates really interesting pieces. And if you were to focus, zoom right in on one of her pieces, like these little lobster crates or whatever, you could see that there's an abstract nature to some of the work that she does. But when you pull away from it and you see the birds and you see the composition, here you see a triangular composition where your eye goes right to that top bird with the wings out, and then you slowly come down and see everything else. And the value structure that she uses, meaning how dark things are and how they contrast from each other, are just absolutely remarkable. Her instinct for color theory and color palettes, composition, and her ability to just create a value structure that really, really works and makes everything balanced. It's remarkable. And you don't see a lot of this kind of work from a lot of people, myself included. I struggle with some of these challenges myself, but she really has a knack for it. And that's what drew me into watching her videos, which, if you ever watch her videos, they're just, some of them she talks through, and she seems like such a nice, easygoing person that you can just sit and watch, and it's just a joy to just hear her speak. But other videos are just her painting to music with a little bit of a speed up. There's her name right there. You can see it's Ira Sluyterman van Langeweyde. And again, I'm probably butchering it. But if you're interested in checking out this book, you can go to her social media outlets, either YouTube or Instagram, and she has links that you can find this book. I think I got it for, I think it was under $50. It was maybe like $40 or $50. I'm not sure, but it is worth it. You can see I've bookmarked all these sections in the book with my Post-its, and I will be referring to this book for a long time because this is something I'll come back to over and over. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek of her book, Hideaways, and I definitely encourage you to check out her work, Iraville, even on Instagram or wherever, and I think you're going to like it. So thank you so much for coming by today. I hope your new year is going great. Thank you so much for just being here, and I hope you're doing great in your creative journey. Take care, and God bless.